Learning a new language can be exciting, especially at the start. You pick up a few phrases, feel like you're making progress, but then everything starts to blur together. You're trying to learn new words, make sense of the grammar, maybe speak a little, and it just gets a bit overwhelming. So I've been using Babbel recently, and it's actually helped with that. It's not just flashcards or random vocabulary words. The lessons build in a way that makes sense, and everything's voiced by native speakers, so you're learning how people actually talk, not just textbook examples. So in this video, I'll walk you through what it's been like using Babbel day to day, how the app works, what it does well, where it falls short, and whether it's worth sticking with if other apps haven't really worked for you. Now, if you're not very familiar with Babbel, it's basically a full-on language learning app that's been around since 2007. And what's cool is that all the lessons are built by actual language experts and native speakers. They cover 14 different languages, and it's designed to be practical. That way, you're not just learning lists of words, you're working through everyday conversations, grammar that actually applies, and topics like travel, work, food, or even relationships. So it's really aimed at helping you talk to someone who actually lives there, not just pass a vocabulary test. Now, the way it works is you just pick the language you want to learn, let's say Spanish, French, German, whatever, and you're in. No placement test, no onboarding quiz, it just starts. The lessons are short, usually around 10 to 15 minutes or so, which makes them easy to fit in throughout the day. I'd do one during a coffee break or right before bed, or in my drive back from work. You're listening to real speakers, repeating things out loud, filling in the blanks, and answering quick prompts. You're moving the whole time, but it flows in a way that keeps it from feeling like work. What's nice is that it really does not focus on memorizing vocabulary lists. From the start, it drops you into full conversations, asking for directions, ordering at a cafe, talking about your job. You pick the vocabulary in context, and that actually helps you remember it. One of the first Spanish lessons I did was about meeting someone at a cafe. Super basic stuff. Introducing yourself, asking how someone's doing, ordering a drink. But it felt like something I'd actually use, and it made the language click in a different way than just drilling flashcards. Now, the grammar kind of slips in as you go. If there's a new sentence structure or verb form, it'll give you a quick note about why it's written that way. Then move right on. No long explanations. It teaches through examples, and that honestly made it easier to follow. The native speaker audio helps a lot too. Every line is voiced clearly and naturally, so you get a feel for the rhythm and flow. Not just what the words mean, but how people actually say them. Also, Babbel has a review tool, which is actually super solid. It basically uses spaced repetition to cycle back to stuff you learned earlier, right before you're about to forget it. So that way, the more you go, the more the vocabulary sticks, without having to cram. Another great thing is that you can also switch between your phone and laptop at any time. I'd start something on my laptop, and then finish on the app later on, and it all just stays synced up. No weird restarts or having to scroll back through lessons. It makes the whole thing feel a lot more flexible, especially if you're trying to build a habit. And hey, if you're already thinking about giving Babbel a try, I'll drop a link down in the description. That's usually where you'll find the best deals available, and sometimes even cheaper than directly through their website. So feel free to check that out if you're interested. Now, even though I've had a good experience with Babbel, like any service, it's not perfect. So the first thing I noticed is that the exercises can get a little bit repetitive. You're doing a lot of the same types of exercises, matching words, filling in blanks, and repeating things out loud. It definitely works, but after a few lessons in a row, it can feel like you're going over some of the same stuff. The other thing that I noticed is that Babbel's not going to take you all the way to full fluency. It's really solid for beginners and for getting into that comfortable intermediate stage, but once you're trying to have more advanced conversations, you'll probably want to pair it with something else. Alright, so that's all well and good, but how much does it all cost? So Babbel gives you a few different options depending on how long you want to commit. If you just want to test it out for a month, it's around $18, which definitely is one of the more expensive options, but is great if you just want to test it out. If you're planning to stick with it for a little longer, the price drops. The 3-month plan comes out to be about $15 a month, and the 6-month plan brings it down to around $13 a month. Now, if you're really serious about learning, the annual plan is the best value. That comes out to be about $9 a month when you pay up front, which is a pretty big difference compared to just paying month to month. And then, if you know you're going to commit for a long time, or maybe you want to learn multiple languages, they do have a lifetime plan. That's a one-time payment of about $300, and you get access to everything forever, no renewals. Oh, and also, all the plans come with a 20-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it out just to make sure that you like it. So overall, I think Babbel does a really solid job at what it sets out to do. If you're just starting to learn a new language, or maybe you've tried before and didn't get very far, this gives you a clear, structured way to build a foundation that actually sticks. The lessons are short, they flow logically, and the mix of native audio and real-world conversations make it feel more natural than a lot of other apps. That said, it's not going to take you all the way to advanced fluency on its own. If you're aiming for really complex conversations, you'll probably want to combine it with other tools. But for beginners and intermediate learners, it's one of the more complete options I've used. And just as a reminder, if you're interested in trying Babbel, I'll leave a link in the description and in the comments, where you can usually find the best deal available. So hopefully you found this review helpful. If you did, please leave a thumbs up, as I always appreciate that. And if you've got any questions, feel free to drop those in the comments. I always enjoy answering as many as I can. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day.